So this next speaker was a hard no year after year until he was a hard yes. And now he's kicking butt and taking names. Help me welcome Mr. Sean Work, everybody. Give him a hand. Woo!
So I think hey, everybody stand up. We're on the homeward stretch. Let's shake out the energy here. I think we got, a half an hour left. How many more speakers we got, Brent? Couple? Okay, so here we go. Brent, are you sure you want me up here? I don't know if you lost a bet or if somebody dared you or if I'm being punked right now, but I'm here. I am here, and listening to Chuck and Angela, man, could you follow that guy anywhere or what? Does he have some passion? I don't care what he says. You follow him. And Shelly, you know what I'm hearing from you is, wow, what a release of anxiety this company gives a lot of us now that we have revenue share. I can remember being on that hamster wheel myself. Steve, what's up, buddy? I am flattered to be here today. I know a lot of you. I love a lot of you, a lot of peers, a lot of leaders. And so really humbled to be here today. And really thought long and hard about what my topic would be and what I would want to try and convey based on my numbers. I'm not a 3,000 agent guy or a 1,000 agent guy or a 4,000 agent guy. I've been at this company 3 years. Well, let's start here. I'll start with my story here. I grew up in Northern California where I had to walk 7 miles every day in snow to school. That's a joke. But on the real, I grew up, my father was a disabled vet, got shot a couple times in Vietnam. We grew up pretty poor, and fast forward, I got my associate's degree, for those of you who know Northern California, at Sierra College, and didn't really have any money to finish it off, so I said, I'm going to join the Navy, right? Well, this was the late 90s. There wasn't really much conflict, but guess what happened in 2001? We're coming out of the Indian Ocean, and I was stationed on the Big E. First nuclear aircraft carrier, and had a hell of a good summer through the Mediterranean and partied. It was awesome, but we're coming out. We're heading home after a 6-month deployment, and 9/11 happens. And so for about 5 days, we spun circles in the Indian Ocean. Didn't know what we were going to do, but we got the call from National Command. Let's go. It's Afghanistan time. And long story short, spent another 5 months out there, what turned to be an 11-month deployment. That's a long time to be away from your friends and your family. And what happened to me was the commander of an F-18 or F-14 squadron said, Petty Officer Work, we love you. We want you to come to our squadron, which was awesome because I got to go back to California at the time. The Enterprise was stationed in Virginia. And I was like, yes, I get to go back to California, but guess what? We're going on another deployment in about 4 months. So long story short, we transitioned to the Super Hornet, lived in Lemoore for a while, and I had been gone for, out of about my last 36 months in the Navy, I was deployed for about 30 of it. So got back, and a temporary assignment came up to go to Top Gun and be an instructor at Top Gun for Intel community. I was an intelligence analyst, intelligence specialist. So went up there, and my wife says, Sean, get your real estate license while you're doing instructor duty. Great idea, right? It's 2003, 2004, and literally you could be a monkey in the tree and catch a deal, right? So I go, well, hell, I'll give it a go. My other option was, because of my clearance and because of my training, at the time, they had just developed Homeland Security, and they needed a liaison between the FBI and Homeland Security. And actually secured that job, but that would have meant I would have had to go to Quantico for 6 months. And I didn't want to leave. I was burnt out and tired. So literally got sworn out of the Navy on Friday and started selling. Long story short, after they tried to entice me to be the attaché to the at the embassy in the Netherlands, and I turned that job down to start selling. So I went from battling international terrorism to domestic terrorism, which are buyers and sellers. Okay, and here you go. We've got some crazy clients these days, and I think they're getting crazier. Would you agree? Yes. Okay. So many of you might know Remax and my friend Richard here. So I started Remax. Brent was at Remax at the time. Brent and I have known each other for quite some time. And I was at Remax for a couple of years and then got the call from the next best thing at the time, which is Keller Williams. How many of you drank the Kool-Aid? Okay, majority of you. So I was at KW for 14 years and really did most everything that KW had to offer, from being a mega agent to, I got the ego tap, 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 come be a team leader. Oh, that sounds phenomenal, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that job really almost killed me, after a year or two. Literally, almost killed me. But this great guy, Brent, wouldn't give up on me and kept calling me relentlessly. Want to go to coffee? You want a Zoom call? You want the call? Until one day, honestly, and this is my personal story, the door opens up. And that's what you find in a lot of people, right? It took me 16 months, almost 2 years before my door opened up. And Brent calls me and he says, hey, how much did you make in that profit share thing you got going on there? And keep in mind, my first year as a team leader, I recruited 130 agents at my market center. Was like number 2 at KW that year for recruiting. Big deal, right? Didn't mean anything in my pocket. And so he calls me and he says, hey, what'd you make? And I told him it's like a minimal amount. And he goes, guess what I made last month in revenue share? And I don't know if I can say it, so I won't, but it was a 6-figure number. And I said, Brent, that warrants a sit-down meeting. I'll be at your office tomorrow. And I want to see it. Didn't I, Brent? I said, I want to see it. So you have your statement ready. And Brent literally, sitting just like here, turned his computer around and showed me the deposit logs. Trust but verify, people. Trust but verify. Yeah. I've been sold a bag of goods before, probably like all of you in the past, correct? Something to be sensitive of. So Brent, being the awesome salesperson that he is, he said, Sean, it's shareholders on Friday. I think it was like on a Tuesday that he goes, I've already got your ticket. And I thought to myself, how the hell do you have my ticket? You don't have my driver's license number or my birth date. But I went with it, right? I got your ticket. You come down there. And so literally flew in and flew out. And I had people walking around showing me the revenue share, 30,000, 20,000, 15,000, 10,000. And I go, this shit is real. And so literally came back, and after being at KW for 14 years, and honestly, I thought you would wheel me out of KW just like every other real estate agent. How many real estate agents do you know that have retired? Make note of that, right? Make note of that. So I literally thought you would be wheeling me out of KW because I bled red, and all of a sudden I had to leave my friends of 14 years. My friend, the regional director, and all the team lead, and the person who recruited me, because it was best for my family, and it was best for me long term. The anxiety and the light at the end of the tunnel, and being passionate again about what you do and who you are. And so anyway, that's a long story short, but so let's get into what I'd like to talk about today, which is really the theme of your organization. We talk a lot about how to attract people and how to, role play and get that initial call. But what I think I'm best at, and this is backed up by my team because I asked them in preparation for this. I didn't want to blow it, okay? I asked them, what am I really good at, guys? And that's what I'm gonna talk about today. So they said, Sean, you're really good at giving out info, at helping us grow our real estate business, and at retention. And when I had my market center, I think over the 2-year death march as a team leader, I lost less than 2 top producing agents in 2 years, okay? And so my focus has always been on recruiting great agents and helping them grow. And that's probably anybody else been a team leader before in here? Oh yeah. So you guys know you guys have that dynamic where you're recruiting the agent and you're trying to help their business grow, and you've got the OP or the owner of the franchise saying what? We need profit, money, 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 and you've got the region saying we need people, we need people, we need people. It's a hard dynamic to please 3 masters. I was always the guy that said, my passion and my heart is with the agents. So let's help them grow. So that's what we're going to talk about today. You guys good with that? Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask you this very large-scale question. What is your version of EXP? It's different for all of us, isn't it? Chuck and Angela have a different organization than Gene, than me, than Chris, than Steve. So I want you to think conceptually, what is your version? Now, what does that mean? Well, each one of us have different players on our game board. We have different queens, kings, knights, and pawns. But I want to share with you the way that I conceptually see this company. And it's a split of 50-50 of EXP's responsibilities and my responsibility as an organization, as a team leader. Chuck and Angela talked about it. Get good at, what did they say? What did they say? What did Chuck and Angela say get good at? Come on. Value proposition. Okay? And then Nicole said, get good at onboarding. You guys have to visually think about EXP only has these responsibilities. They're the platform for success. They got tech support, they got stock awards, they've got the revenue share, they have the platform, but look at all the responsibility that you have as an organized leader. So you gotta get good at it for retention purposes, because retention really equals what? Growth. If your agents are growing, what happens is the market sees that. They become influential out there, right? So here's your responsibility for your individual agent growth. I would say for your first, second, and third line. When's the last time you dialed through your first, second, and third line? Right? Okay. Retention. Do you know why, what the most, let me see how I can phrase this. Do you know why most people leave their brokerage? The number one reason? That's number two. That's 10%, lack of acknowledgement. 50% is cost. That's because 80% of the agents aren't doing anything anyway, right? So it really does matter to them, those monthly fees and what they're paying, and they're coming from a scarcity mindset. So, do you know what the third thing is? They don't plug in. You got to get them to plug in. What does that mean? Somebody, what does it mean to get your people to plug in? Perfect. Attending events. Keep going. What? Get involved. How do they get involved? Mixers. Okay. So these are the things that you want. I saw a lot of you take pictures of this, but this is the concept that I run my organization with. If there's something wrong with onboarding, I'm not calling the onboarding person and going, oh, they can't get on. Can you, it's going to take that person 2 days to do it. We're jumping in and we're being the buffer between us and an EXP. That's the way you have to think about it, right? We're in business together. You're utilizing their platform. You got to jump in.
That's good.
Okay? So the theme of this is attraction through retention, obviously, and your version of your organization is an extension of your leadership and your leadership skills. And here's why. How many of you have more than 50 people in your organization? Okay, would you agree you guys are all running a brokerage? Okay, so you got to set the tone for those people. What's your vision for those 50 people or 100 people? Brent just said it. I got a vision for all of you. It's time we dive into that leadership mode and build some growth metrics for yourself. So ultimately what retention looks like is, do you care about me? Can I trust you? And can you help me? Those are the three biggest parts of retention. So how does that play in what you guys are doing? It's great to talk about, and I love it because we have all these great people and they're recruiting, and they're recruiting large numbers. But let's just take a minor step back and put our systems and the concept of our business as a leader. Like if you're a leader of your organization, if you really conceptually thought about, hey, I've got 50 people that are reliant on me, you better have a vision and a mission and a theme for 2022. Would you agree? Okay, good. So here's my annual theme for my organization last year and for my team was relationships. I think relationships it's the number one way to scale a real estate business. It's the number one way to scale an organization. This year, it's communication. We're over communicating. We want people to plug in. Did you go to the training events that we're holding on Wednesday? Did you log into the world and go to those training events? Did you go to the mega agent panel? There's a lot of stuff out there. We're not communicating it good enough, okay? And so that goes with clients too. Are you over communicating with your clients? An example would be over communication. When we're in escrow, we're giving that client a net sheet every week based on changes, based on repairs, based on closing timelines. That creates referral. That creates trust. When you go back and you look at these guys, do you care about me? How do they know that you care about them? How do they know that they can trust you? How do they know that you can help them? One of the ways to do that is to over-communicate with them, okay? So, what will your theme be for 2022? Somebody give me some examples of what those might be. And if not, I've got a couple right in my back pocket because I came prepared. But some people give in business, what could your theme be to help scale your organization? 2-10-40, okay? Break that down into a concept. Okay, so that really is growth, right? Or growth in your numbers. It could be, go ahead. Collaboration, yes. It could be technology. My theme this year is technology. Here's what we're going to implement into our organization and into our real estate business. And I had a bunch of them that I was working on in the plane. They didn't come over here, so I'll email that slide. I'll have the new slide deck emailed out. But yeah, think about what your theme might be for 2022. The reason that we want to think about this and is obviously if there's no goal there, if there's no theme, if there's no commonality to there, and I'm just thinking like, sorry to make it political, but Operation Warp Speed. What does that mean? We're going to get vaccines out to the public. We're going to use the Defense Act. We're going to do all these things, and it's a central topic, a central theme everybody can get behind and push in your organization. That's what you want. That's what leaders do. But if there's not a common goal, if there's not a theme, then ultimately we have low goals, and our habits will match those. You set a big vision for yourself, your habits will match those. Here's just a post. How did I come up with this? A coach challenged me. He said, hey, Sean, you got to have a theme for your business, for your clients, and for your organization. And so this is the second year we've done it, and it works phenomenally well. All of our trainings for last year were centered on how to build relationships. Our mixers, how to build relationships. Go get your 30 whales. Who are the 30 people that you could get in relationship today that would change the scope of your business and your life? Think about that. It's in your hands to do. Here's the other thing. Oftentimes, when dealing with leadership, those of you who have been in leadership, you've never been criticized, have you? No. Okay. So most of the time, the people in our organization will be our harshest critic. This year, guys, give them something to cheer about. So what does this look like? More information, right? But listen, and I've got some stats to back this up in a moment. Is this good info? Yeah, it's good. Okay, cool. So are you helping your organization with the following? Marketing campaigns, helping them use persuasions and persuasion skills and content. And are you spoon feeding them buyer seller packets? It's so easy, so cost effective, and it becomes a value proposition for you. We do a Wednesday Zoom call meeting, and it's centered around three things, which are the most important things in real estate, which is knowing the market, mindset, and sales skills. You'll see over 80% of people that get into real estate have zero sales skills. Zero. Oh, this looks fun. Worked on $1 million listing, right? So, and you're coaching and you're giving them market updates and you're creating a narrative around what the value for your organization looks like. And then on the other side, for your organization, recognition. That's the number 2 thing. Facebook post, hey, they just capped, welcome to the team. They just brought so-and-so on. Whatever is going on in their life, you have to provide that evidence of success, because regardless of how educated we are, when it comes down to it, real estate agents are egocentric. You got to stroke that ego, right? And three-way calls, and Angela said you got to understand the disc profile. These are all leadership skills that when you want to grow a big organization, you got to have those tools, those resources, and be scaling and working on these things. In April, we're going to do a luxury magazine for everybody in my organization in our local publication. Why? It's a stroke of the ego. It's a value proposition, okay? So you got to think about other aspects of running the organization and get 80% of your people on KV Core. The stat is, anybody know what the stat at EXP for agents who are actually engaged in using KV Core? No, it's super low. Next time you go chat the inside real estate folks and ask them, it was about 6 months ago, but who are engaging it all the time is only about 15%. Means for every 10 people in your organization, only about 8 of, or less than two of them are using KV Core. You got to get them to plug in. Okay, so that means holding a KV Core training. If there's a missing plank in a ladder, that doesn't mean you just stop. You got to go up. Got to go up a little bit higher. And so if you're in my organization and I'm not providing that, then go to Brent and say, Brent, hey, we need a KV Core training for my peeps. When can we do that? And I'm sure he would do that, right? Would you do that, Brent? Shake your head, yes. Okay, good. And then I have, typically I have a weekly call with my generals. Hey, what's going on? How are you doing? Just to check in, right? Okay, so going back to the value proposition. This is our Wednesday awesome training calendar for Zoom. We publish it. Why do you publish it? So that they can invite their friends and their recruits to join in on that Zoom call. And you can market it. And it helps me to know so I can know what I need to prepare for like an hour before the meeting, right? But, you know, some other things. If you look up here, these are different groups in my organization, and we've put their logos in our branch office space. And we're doing branch offices. It's cheap. You can sublease it out. To do 2 branch offices cost me about $1,000 a month because I sublease it out. Find ways to win for your organization, and these are the buyer-seller packets. And buyer-seller packets, and we give them folders, and we give them brochures, and we spoon-feed it to them because, unfortunately, that's what they need. Okay, here's another thing. You got to help them grow with referral sites. So if you're not out there engaged in what's happening with the market as far as coaching is concerned, like we made a copy of this and sent it out to everybody. Said, go sign up for these. That's what your organization is looking for, guys. Here are the actual stats. Am I good on time? Okay. Here are the actual stats. This is as of 2020 with NAR. 1.3 million realtors in North America. Only 3.3% of them are doing more than 25 transactions. What? 13% success rate in our industry after 4 years. 87 get out of the business. No sales skills, no mentorship, no coaching, no drive. 85% of agents have 0 previous sales or persuasion skills. And there's some other stats here, but here's the bottom line. Your organization needs your help. Your salespeople, your leaders, you're persuasive. You've got content out there. You've got knowledge. You've got education. You've been there before. You failed. They need you. So you plug into them just like you want them to plug into you. Brent does a great job of this. Give him a hand. So I'll ask you, based on this conversation and the conversation we've had about themes and retention, what's the health of your organization right now on a scale of 1 to 10? Rhetorical question. And wrapping up, do you buy into the 50-50 concept that EXP is responsible for a certain set of characteristics, and we are, as the organizational leaders, responsible really for true growth for our organization and our team. What is your retention win for 2022? What's your theme going to be for 2022? And start thinking about for 2023 so you can paint that vision for your team and organization. Out of what we talked about today, what are 3 actionable items, value items that you can immediately bring to your team or organization next week? That's all I got.